The following program is hosted by immature, irreverent, obnoxious, and often disgusting young men. Listener discretion is advised.
This time on Nude Clan, we're gonna destroy all the humans.
Shall we play a game?
Player to another. Dark soul light. Turn on the TV, pick up the controller and play some games with the new clan.
Welcome to another episode of Nude Clan Gaming. I am your beloved host, Caleb Schweiss.
I'm your hated host, apparently, Joseph Igolier.
I'm Caleb Craig.
I'm
just the other guy.
And today, me and the other guy are reviewing Destroy All Humans,
nice.
a game that we beat very quickly to get this review out to you guys before we go on our trip, so that while we're grinding away on the mountainside, you can grind away to the sweet sound of our voices.
Yeah, would you guys beat it in like a day?
2 days, actually.
2 days.
It was pretty fucking fast. It might have been about 3, but I only did a little bit each day. So
All right, so if you're new to the show, you got to stay tuned for that. Our review's in the middle of the show, basically.
yes, it is.
But before we get to that, some real quick plugs. You can go to facebook.com/Nude Clan Podcast. That's nude spelled N-A-W-D. You can watch us stream the games on Twitch sometimes, twitch.tv/Nude Clan
For some
Gaming.
reason, we have Kermit at the table.
Yes, that's what we're going to do. That's all I got.
Okay.
You can tweet me at UFF Podcast.
You can tweet me at Joseph Igolier.
Me at Obsidian Ba. Me at Nude Clan Cam.
You know what's funny about this paper that has all the plugs on it? Mm-hmm. There are 2 at Obsidian Bas on the page for some fucking reason.
You're the one who wrote it.
No, he isn't.
I am not the one
It's
who wrote
really
it.
strange to me. You're holding a piece of paper that
Who
doesn't have
wrote
a
it
dick
then?
on it. That's strange.
Well, that's because he didn't write it. That's why there's no dick.
Well, I didn't write it.
I wrote it. Jesus.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
And the last place you can contact us for now is nudeclanpodcast@gmail.com in case any of those things don't
Right.
work.
We
And,
are working on a new website, and by working, I mean putting the ribbon on top, essentially, at this point. It's going to have all of our other shows. We've got Ultima Final Fantasy, Super Sexy, Godzilla Podcast, even Getting Fat, an old favorite of some.
No. Not the getting fat is not the surprise. The Pseudo Intellectuals Book Club
Available for the first
is
time
available
online.
on there. It's not for the first time. We had it on for a couple months.
Well, we did, but
by
I'm
itself.
saying like now,
Yeah. After it died,
Yeah,
it's back.
post-mortem.
So, how back is it back? Is it back?
Oh, yeah. No, we're not paying for it back.
We don't know anything about it being back.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
We pulled the Libsyn funding for it forever ago because it was just stagnant, dude.
Yeah, so that site is going to be fucking awesome. So stay tuned for that. And I think in about 3 weeks, but we'll see as time goes on.
As
Asmodian, as
Moving on
Kabam.
from the baby talk, what has everybody been playing this week?
Well, Schweiss, I've been playing Final Fantasy X-2 Last Mission
you have?
exclusively.
Wow.
And I did
dedicated.
I may have a game to add to the hogs.
Oh, shit.
Nice.
Caleb
yet.
Craig.
Not yet, kid.
I know.
Okay,
Don't tell me.
Well, since there's only been like 2 days since like our last podcast, I have not beaten anything, but I have been playing the new Doom and also side by side the original Doom.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I picked
How do you
that
like
up on
the-
Steam for the Steam sale.
How does it
so
compare,
it's
the new to the old?
It's really odd playing them side by side, honestly. Like, you can...
We're talking like at the same time, like 2 controllers? Or?
No, I mean, like...
They match up perfectly.
So I've been playing a little bit of the old Doom. You know, I beat the first, like, section of it out of, like, the 4 that there are. And then I've been playing... I'm, like, halfway through the new Doom. and just like the comparisons, like you can see like the what they look like pixelized in the old Doom, and then like looking at them in the newer versions of the new Doom, it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
They look the same, but it's like more detail.
One looks like you put on glasses.
Yeah.
After years of
Yeah, you're
just going for it.
Although I really like the greatness of the shotgun in the original Doom.
Oh,
just
yeah.
being able to snipe anything from like forever away,
And then another
and then
feature-
it dying. Oh, it's
Another
beautiful.
feature that you probably liked is not having to aim. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure that helped you a whole
Yeah,
lot.
like fucking being able to shoot dudes that are like way above you, even though
Yeah.
it's like
As long as it's on the screen, you
I mean,
can
I
hit
just
it.
have to point in their general direction.
Yeah, and you just use your 3-gauge shotgun shells, fucking 3 giant BBs in this container.
like one shot. Yeah, it's fantastic. I love it.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's awesome that you're playing the original. That's
Yeah.
that's a goodie. What about you, Cameron?
Well, I have been playing, of course, some of the new Doom. Just getting a feel for it. Haven't jumped into it with both legs yet. I've recently just purchased for the first time, but not the first time playing it, Star Wars Battlefront.
Oh, nice.
And I have been
right.
really enjoying that. We need to do that again.
Oh,
so
yeah, we do.
sometime after, I guess, this long-ass trip, we're going to come back and do something with video games. I mean, that's what we do, right?
Yeah, I think we can knock out some of those missions that we were working on. We need to do them for your profile too.
Yeah, so we've basically on his profile almost 5-starred all of those missions. Is it 5 stars?
yeah, it is.
Okay. And now we just have to do the same for me. But once you do it once, it's kind of like,
Yeah, I think if we go online, they might actually stack in a good way to where if we get a 5-star on mine, yeah, so we can 5-star on yours. But yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on it. Since we're not on the same console, it should work, and if it doesn't, it's got some major fucking problems.
yeah. Well, yeah, we'll look into it. I've played and beat, Destroy All Humans, and shamefully, I've also played Destroy All Humans Path of the Furon.
How is that one so far?
Light years ahead.
Really?
Well, it's Xbox 360. I don't know when in the line. I mean, it looks like it was made off the same engine, but some of the mechanics just are so much smoother.
Oh, okay, because that
Yeah.
game has like a 37 on Metacritic, and the one we played does not.
Well, it is heavily themed, and it was kind of annoying, but the mechanics were better.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. I have been playing. I haven't touched Rocksmith. I haven't had time because I had to beat Destroy
Rocksmith,
All
forgot
Humans.
that. I've been playing that too.
Good. You got to start. Once I get back into it, I'm just going to play Hangar 18 for the next 3 weeks. That's it. That's the only fucking song I'll play.
Yeah. Have you given up on your dream of playing the guitar?
No, I just have given up on everything that's not last mission and Destroy
He's
All
given up
Humans.
everything. It's just done.
So, yeah, Final Fantasy X-2 last mission, played that to completion for Ultimate Final Fantasy. Destroy All Humans, played that to completion for this show. And I did play a little bit of the new Doom. For the Steam summer sale, I was like tactically selling my extra cards to buy Doom cards. So I needed to play Doom enough to get the 3 card drops, or 4 or 5 or whatever, however many card drops. So I knew which ones I needed to buy. So I had to throw that in, even though I was like nuts deep in everything else that has been going on. So I played that for a little bit, and I think that's about it for the last 2 days of my life.
All right. Well, assuming that some of us may have beaten a game, let's get to the hog status. All right. So, did anybody beat a game this week?
I did.
Nice.
What game was that?
Destroy All Humans.
Destroy All Humans. Way to go, Cameron. Caleb?
I beat Destroy All Humans as well as Final Fantasy X-2 last mission.
Oh, nice.
It appears that I'm catching up to a certain somebody on this here.
You are, in fact, caught up.
Oh,
Not
caught up.
for long.
We'll see.
All right. So that means that you two, Schweiss and Craig.
Well, what
Caleb
about you,
Schweiss
though? You beat a
and
game.
Caleb
You already
Craig.
put-
I already put. I beat last mission as well.
Okay.
Sorry,
Okay.
we were talking about it through our other podcast.
I know,
so
just
I
a
assumed,
little bit ago.
I assumed. So Caleb Craig is at 16.
Yep.
Caleb Schweiss is also at 16.
Yes.
I am at 11, and Cameron
I wasn't
is
gonna do
at
that sound.
7.
God damn it.
7 games beaten this year. So, guys, some of you have filled out your Super Hog status list or have just tweeted me your Hog status number. So, for the month of June, are you ready for the Hog status rankings?
Let's see it.
Our number 1, Hog King, before
Yes.
we make some small changes to the Super Hog status list, which there was a small oversight. So once we get the new
Small
website up,
oversight.
there will be also slight changes in the Hog status list. So I'm sorry for the inconveniences. This is a system that has to be
Fuck you.
that has to be
It's
streamlined.
a
and
living
fixed.
document.
It's a
Craig.
living document.
No.
Caleb
only being
Craig,
done to hurt
for
me.
the month of June, his Super Hog status number is 1,530. I would like to say, now, many of those were he read comic books, and I think the comic book number is just too high for a comic book. Now, there's a difference between graphic novels, omnibuses, and comic books, and we will address that soon. So now he's still not going to lose that many points because most of these points come from owning a shitload of comic books, which that's not going to change how many he fucking owns. So 1,530 comic books. In second place for
1,530
Super
comic
Hogs. Now he also had a Hog status number of 16, nude Hog status number of 16. Second place for Super Hog is me. With 730 points. Largely from hiking on the Bonneville Trail, and I did track that stuff on my Fitness Pal, so I had the amount of minutes down.
Oh, nice.
So in the section where it said how many minutes did you exercise this year so far, I was able to actually fill that out, and so that gave me a shitload of points. And also I owned like 200 something movies, so that helped a lot as well. So I'm at 730. In third place, we have a listener, Danny 83222, Super Hog 720 points. He's pretty close to me. And his Hog is at 4. So 4 games beaten, 720 points. After that, our last person who sent us in Super Hog points, Metunica, is at 375, with his nude clan Hog points at 3. And Jacob Wright only sent us how many games he beat this year, which was 16. So way to go, guys.
damn.
Thank you for sending us your Hog points. Caleb Craig in the Super Hog
Yeah.
is Hog Supreme.
I did do a tentative hog count. I counted up everything real quick. No exercise. I'm not going to count that. I have no idea how much I've done. I go on walks.
I still haven't counted
occasionally.
my books.
But I'm sitting at 510 right now.
Oh,
I'm going to
okay.
redo
All right.
everything, though, and make sure I count all of my stuff. The idea of inventorying my home is just not an appealing one. So
But you got like 4 bookshelves in here. You
I
don't,
don't
have to. You don't
care.
have to dig into storage. Thank
don't care.
God for you.
yeah.
I still haven't counted my books because of that, and I got a shitload of books, so I'm ready for those points.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you guys for sending us in your Hog status numbers. Caleb Craig is Hog Supreme, and 3 people are tied for the Nude Clan Hog. For
Junior
and
Hog.
3 of them are hosts for our shows. Jacob Wright being the outsider on this one.
All right.
So way to go, Jacob Wright. Okay. Well, guys, shall we get to our review of Destroy All Humans?
Let's do it.
Sunning, it's so good for you. Let's go sunning, neath the sky.
Ladies and gentlemen, we interrupt this program to bring you breaking news from the observatory at Rockwell.
In over 20 years of broadcasting, I'm at a loss for words. I can only describe what I'm seeing as not from this Earth. Something is emerging out of the spacecraft. It's raising its hand. Perhaps a sign of peace. No! We are under attack!
Ladies and gentlemen, due to technical difficulties, we are unable to continue the broadcast from the Rockwell Observatory.
Pathetic humans.
Destroy All Humans is an action-adventure title released by the now-defunct Pandemic Studios. You may remember Pandemic from popular titles such as the first 2 Star Wars Battlefront games and the Mercenaries series. You can definitely see that while playing this game. This is the kind of game they want to make. The game was released for the PlayStation 2 and Xbox on the 21st of June in 2005. Now, the game's story or events take place in the year of 1959 in USA and features a very technologically advanced race of aliens known as Furons. We start things off with a flying saucer investigating Earth, who happens to be right above a nuclear missile launch.
Oh, hey, what's that right there?
Yeah, not a good plan there. Maybe not as advanced as we think, now that I think of it. It launches it just overhead, and Cryptosporidium, the name of the alien 136, is captured by the U.S. Army. The game is then set up as sort of a rescue mission and an attempt to collect human DNA. Apparently some really horny Furons back in the day, thousands of years ago, visited Earth for shore leave is what they called it.
Oh, man.
Following an epic war with Mars.
So they destroyed Mars, then they go to shore leave on Earth for a long time, and it mentions the word nubile inhabitants.
Oh, yes, and they pork it up. So basically you're hunting their DNA because there's a small pure chunk of Furon DNA left within the humans, and due to nuclear warfare with many other planets, the Furons have lost their genitalia over the years, and their leader, Orthopox, has to resort to the ever-degenerating clones to do his bidding. So no one can reproduce. They just have to keep using clones that get worse and worse as time goes on.
Oh, dear God.
And it's really funny in the game.
When you die, you come back as the next clone up.
Yeah, you come back as like the next number. It's like instead
clone number
of...
are you on?
I'm like 146 or something like that.
I think I'm like 150.
Yeah, it's cool. I think that's an awesome idea. It's like Cryptosporidium 150 has been born. Cool stuff like that. So during the game, all of Crypto's various crimes are covered up by the mainstream media, who blame everything either on freak accidents such as like a loose wire or freaking communism, which is hilarious. This game reeks.
Red Scare.
Yeah, it's a giant reference to the pop culture and politics of the late 50s, though the technology that everyone has running around is way superior to shit that was around then and even now as far as some of the weaponry goes.
I feel like, though, some of the ideas that they were portraying in the game are very strongly liberal. They're very sarcastic of the conservative side.
Yeah, they are. There's one part where once they got the mind control devices taken care of, they're like, in unrelated news, the county is now voting purely Republican.
No, it was the mind controlled diners. And
the diners.
They were poisoning the food to make people more irritable, more suspicious of outsiders, and as a side benefit that they liked was they all voted Republican.
Yeah. So it is a nice bash on that, and it's pretty comical. So throughout the game, you're armed with multiple weapons, including an anal probe gun, a Zap-O-Matic, which you basically shock people, a disintegrator ray, and an ion detonator. There are also missions and parts of missions where you get to fly around in your saucer, which of course has to be equipped with groundbreaking devastation as well. You get a death ray, which is just like it sounds, just a beam of flame from the sky. An abducto beam, which is hilarious. You can pick shit up and just toss it. I just was picking dudes up and throwing them.
And just throw that.
Yeah, you like spin it around. It just gets faster and builds up momentum. And sonic boom, which kind of displaces everything, and then the quantum destructor, which just fucking obliterates anything it touches. It's the last upgrade you get for your saucer, and yeah, that's the game. I mean, you basically go in and you just destroy all humans.
So yeah, you destroy all humans. You progress through the storyline. There's some plot twists that were obvious if you do the fucking mind read thing.
Yeah.
And then I guess, it's just it's a really fun game. Lots of comedy, infuriating mechanics sometimes, but we'll get into that.
Okay. Story, guys. What do you guys think of the story?
You go ahead, Cameron.
Story-wise, so Furon, you get sent to Earth. Is that better for you, Joe?
It's the gusto.
This movement means diaphragm.
Diaphragm. So, alien species, you go to Earth, need to find your brother because you're really mad about that, while collecting DNA so you can upgrade stuff because you need the DNA to upgrade your shit. And then, just as the story progresses, it's kind of mind-numbing how stupid some of the story missions are. And there was an obvious plot twist at the end. So, story-wise, I will give them points for being original, creative for their story. Points for being funny most of the time.
Points.
But then I have to take away
50 points for Gryffindor.
For just how repetitive and doesn't feel like a full rounded out story to me. I don't know about you, but I'm going to give it a 6 out of...
6 out of 10.
6 out of 10.
6 out of 8. The last two they don't even count. All right, so the story in this game, I didn't mind. It is kind of loose. I mean, basically, you're just going through and trying to control the humans, and by the end of the game, you do have a little DNA machine that the government is like mind controlling and like puts you into, and it just harvests the DNA straight out of your body.
Get in there. The president said it was good.
Yeah. If it's good enough for him, it's good enough for me.
Okay.
The story in the game is semi-lackluster. I do like the idea of why they're harvesting brains. They gave the game a purpose. It wasn't just like endless carnage. It's, okay, we need brains so that we can continue as a species. I thought that was kind of cool. The comedy in the game, the writing of the game, I think is what really makes the story. Mm-hmm. Sure, the mind-reading ability that you get... that actually adds powers to you. You get like more of your alien power when you mind read from somebody. Some of the lines they give you are pretty comedic, but after a while they do get old because they do.
I was going to stick that under gameplay.
I would call that, since it's the dialogue, I put it under story.
Well, some of the dialogue is extremely funny. So you have to mind read because if you make yourself look like a civilian or someone else, it takes your concentration and makes your meter run down.
Right.
And you need to read or scan someone's mind because it restores your energy, and you have to keep doing that in order to stay hidden. And so you keep doing it, some funny stuff, but it's just like after all, it's the same few fucking things all the time. Some are funny, like the soldiers when you scan their mind. Sometimes they'll say, "Don't ask, don't tell." Works for me. And then a lot of the women's, their lines are kind of sexist, which really kind of reflects the ideology back in the 1959, 1960s of what women should be. And then, some pretty good comedic lines in there.
Yeah, and I mean, I didn't mind the plot line as far as the government organization. Oh shit, what are they called? Majestic. That's right. They're basically trying to thwart your plans to destroy all the humans, to subjugate
while at the same time trying to control all humans themselves.
Yeah, they want to control them as well. So it's like this battle between two evil forces, and comes to a head in the end. And I don't know, I didn't mind the story. I thought the dialogue made up for a lot of where it lacked. So I'm going to go ahead and give the story, and I'll give it a 7.
You'll give it a 7.
It was pretty funny.
It was. I mean, some of the lines that I've written down here for the review, there's one where you're doing a mission where you have to bend antenna to the direction of the mothership to control people's minds, and the main boss guy is like, if you could bend the antenna in the direction of the mothership, we should be able to send the signal. That's the good news. The bad news is that for complex and highly technical reasons, you have only 3 minutes to do this, or very bad things will happen. Now let us never speak of it again. Go out there and bend some rabbit ears. Like, it's funny that they acknowledge the fact that it's ridiculous that there's a timer on this mission, but they're like, fuck it, you get it anyway.
That's pretty good.
I actually failed that mission, and so what he says, the first time I failed it because I was trying to stay incognito the whole time.
Yeah.
And you can't do that on that mission.
No, you can't.
So anyways, he says something about how the satellite passed out of range, and so it kind of makes sense in that kind of thing, but he could just over it anywhere he wants.
Yeah. Yeah, it is pretty funny. I mean, there's other ones, like the first time you reach Earth, the very first confrontation you have, you're guy's like, hey, go approach those beings over there. And it's like a group of cows. And he walks over to one and like talks to it and says, moo. And then the main guy's like, moo? Primitive yet profound. Scan another one. It's pretty funny like throughout. There's a lot of great lines.
Some great funny moments. Like the first time you abduct someone, that was pretty funny.
Yeah, you're like, I'm gonna probe that.
And she's sitting there, she's like, oh, it tickles just right.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, she's getting pulled up into the ship. It's dirty as fuck.
Oh, that's awesome.
There's another line where someone, like, after being shot with the anal probe, a chick says, ooh, that doesn't hurt so much. Maybe Bob was right.
Oh my god.
It's like all
and
these
another
fucking
one
lines.
is like, oh man, I can't wait to get home to have Mama's little helper. Another one is, maybe when I get home, I'll have another Valium or 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Great stuff. And I think that all really goes into the story. And that's why I give it some more points. Or else I wouldn't if it weren't for the great dialogue that the game offers. So.
All right. So, guys, how does this game play?
Well, there's some hang-ups here.
Oh, there's a sigh there. So that's good news, right?
I mean, you hop into it. The controls are easy to kind of get a hold of. Learning curve isn't that great. It's just certain things like the anal probe. It just takes too long to use it. And so you just end up not wanting to use the anal probe as much, but then the game will force you. The game will force you to go collect DNA in order to get past certain points. It's because you charge the anal probe, and a normal person, you shoot them with the charged anal probe, they'll get hit in the butt, they'll run around, and then their head blows up. And a normal person, you only need 1, but they only give you like 10 DNA. But as the enemies progressively get harder, the more charged anal probes they need in order to blow them up. And the anal probe takes for fucking ever to charge.
Yeah, I didn't use the anal probe.
You just you just used the other one?
Yeah, the extract. I killed him.
The
and
extract?
then extracted it out.
So one thing I was doing with the anal probe is I would so in this game
love saying that.
there's different levels of alertness of the city, kind of like a
Grand Theft Auto
thing.
Okay.
The funny thing is, though, the highest level of alertness is easier than the one below it. So when Majestic comes, so you have the police who come and shoot you, you just take care of them. Then the military comes, they have tanks and soldiers and stuff. And the last level of alertness is a Majestic, where they come in their black sedan cars and they shoot like laser stuff at you. When you are flying around in your saucer, the military part is much harder than the Majestic part. So to me, I think that's kind of a fail where it gets easier the more alert people are.
Yeah.
But what I did, though, as when I needed to collect a whole bunch of DNA, I would use the Majestic people because they were 50 DNA. So what I would do is I would lure 2 of them off to the side. I would hypnotize one, and so he was like sitting there dancing, and everyone just watches and claps. And they could do whatever you want. And then I make the other guy go to sleep. And by that time, I have he's asleep. Then I get my anal probe out. I shoot the one guy with the fully charged shot.
I said anal.
And by doing that, it reduces their count to only 1.
Oh, okay.
So if they're hypnotized or asleep, they don't have their defenses up for the anal probe.
They're wide open for you.
They're wide open.
Damn.
How much anal does one need to like blow up their minds in the later part of the game?
So the Majestic people take, if they're fully aware, they take 4 anal probes.
Oh man!
And then seriously,
really
it's like 5 seconds of holding the charge button before you can fire.
Wow, you went about that in a very interesting way. Did you
probe everyone?
Did you get all the upgrades in the game?
Yeah, I think I just have one more saucer upgrade that I need, but I got mostly everything else. I wanted a charge increase on the anal probe. It was what I wanted.
Yeah, what I ended up doing is there's the mission on Turnip Seed Farm or whatever it's called.
Yeah, Turnip Seed.
And you can do it a few times and you get it up to where you have to kill 20 farmers and you get 300 DNA.
Oh man, I should have done that.
It took me
because
about
sometimes you have to collect thousands of DNA in one go.
It took me about a minute each time to get 300 DNA.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's what I was doing. Whenever I got into an upgrade situation, I'm like, all right, going back to the farm.
I would fucking go to Santa Modesta and grind that town until I had enough.
Yeah, fuck that. There are other ones that scale higher, but the farmers are just so plentiful and they spawn.
But
really
they only
quick.
give you 10 DNA apiece.
No, I don't even take it from their bodies. I just get it for completing the little mini game.
So you're just trying to go to get DNA to finish the mission? Is
No,
that
so
usually what
sometimes
you're
they
trying
make
to
you.
do?
Sometimes they make you. They have to collect DNA in order to unlock the next mission, but you use the DNA to upgrade yourself or to upgrade your saucer.
All right. So like, what kind of how does this game mechanically kind of go?
It's like a third-person shooter.
Yeah,
kind of an action game.
clunky third-person shooter.
You've got a jetpack that you can fly around in. You've got your abilities. There's items located all over the rooftops. Weaponry. There's some really pain in the ass things that happen. If you get too close to these little electric things, they'll send out a mini EMP and it'll just destroy your.
It'll
equipment
disable your
now.
weapons for like a little bit.
Your weapons and jetpacks. So,
and then later on, you get to psychic people who'll take out all of your psychic brain power, so you can't fight back.
yeah, so there's a lot of different enemies in the game. There's also these giant robots that you fight. These mech suits that the government has back in the 50s.
I loved it when I
historically
and then
accurate, of course.
if your psychic ability was up enough, you just pick them up and toss them. They're just nothing.
Yeah, you can just chuck them.
Man, the take though. One time I used my psychic ability on a take. I'm about to throw it, but it just turns around and shoots me, and it wasn't even like pointing at me. It was like pointing straight up, but somehow it arced the bullet straight at me, and it just.
That's beautiful. There's a lot of cool imagery too. Like the last chunk of the game is in basically Washington D.C. and you kind of destroy the White House a little bit, which is kind of fucked up. But
I destroyed it all the way.
Yeah. There's another really great line that's that they utter here. It's like the guy's like, when you're chasing around. Okay, fine. Fuck, this is like a rat fuck here, but the final boss of the game, one of them is a president mech suit, like a gigantic
the president robot with just the brain on the top.
Prezibot, yeah, it's like just a brain inside it, and it just goes rampant on you and just starts destroying you. And there's a line in there where the Orthopox guy says, he says, "Quick, he's heading to the white building. No, the other white building, the one with the tall, ugly fellow with the beard. He's like Amish or something like that." So, you're going over to the Lincoln Memorial and destroying it, and I don't know, it's cool.
For me, the final boss fight in that boss fight was good, but the hardest thing for me was those fucking missile launchers. If they just had like 100 of those, you'd be done. You couldn't do anything about it. Those fucking missile launchers and those missiles that fly faster than you can and really home in on you. You have to do all sorts of stuff to get away from them, and they take a huge chunk of your health off. But there's maybe like 5 of them scattered around. So that fight, all I did was find all of them, destroy them, and then I could just focus on the main boss.
Yeah.
If you had 50 of those, you'd be done.
I just
beating the game.
I left him alone. I just kept dodging like a beast.
I saw
Those
a
are
flying
crazy.
mechanic, and I also saw a sneak mechanic in this game.
Yep.
You want to talk about those?
Yeah, the sneak mechanic is kind of a pain in the ass. Like we mentioned earlier, there's an ability to you look at someone, you press circle, and you like create a hollow bob.
It can be a dead body too.
Yeah, a dead body as well. A hollow bob, which is like a new rendition of them. And you walk around as a normal person. Now, that's all fun and games, right? That's awesome. But while you're doing it, your little stamina bar drops, so you have to read minds, which have funny little quips in them, but they get old after a while. And
but then when the majestic people start walking everywhere, they can actually see through your disguise. And so if you get too close to them for too long, your disguise drops. And that's a real pain in the ass, especially on the White House level, because they're fucking everywhere.
Yeah, I had to redo that one like 6 times.
I just found out you have to walk way off in the grass and just take a long ass way around, and you get past most of them.
Take the long way home. No, what I did is I just didn't alert anybody in the beginning, and there were like no majestic agents. So if you don't fuck up...
No, and the freaking DC, they just walk around everywhere. That Pentagon mission, they're just chilling, just walking down the street.
Was this game difficult? I know you had very big problems with that sneaking level that I was watching you do.
I was getting pissed at it.
Yeah,
but...
you were getting pissed, but is this a difficult game?
It's an intermediate game. I mean, it takes some effort. Some levels you do have to retry, and it's really annoying if you fail level almost all the way through. You have to repeat it from the beginning.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's infuriating that way. Some levels are harder than others, but all in all, I don't want to say it's not a sadistic game. It's if you concentrate, you'll get it done in 2 days.
Yeah, you just the sneaking missions are probably the worst part.
I was gonna say that it's so fucking annoying.
Yeah, they're a pain in the ass. The flying saucer missions are probably those ones might be my favorite. Or the missions where I just get to destroy stuff. Those are fun. Where you go in, you mind control some scientists, they unlock the door for you, and you blow up a bunch of shit. Stuff like that's really cool. Also, the giant robot mechs, those are fun to fight. not quite as intimidating as you would imagine, but
No, they're intimidating. We see it from the distance because for some reason they look like Iron Giant height, but when you get closer, they're not that big.
yeah. Also, another one part of the story that we failed to mention: you have like this rivalry with a U.S. Army general. And Armquist, and you try to assassinate him with a nuclear warhead. You possess this soldier to like get in the vehicle and just drive the nuke to the base and just
That mission was freaking annoying too.
Yeah, I did fine on that one. You had to like clear the road and make sure all the mines and stuff were out of the
without
way.
raising alertness either.
Yeah, but it's nuts. You just blow this nuke up in the middle of this fucking base.
That's sweet.
And then later, when you finally have him in your sights, I don't know why you're just a freaking dunce, and it's just terrible animation in that scene where you corner him after you get the generals to disagree with him, and he's just like, and you like get your gun ready, and he jumps, and like a second later you shoot where he was, and then he goes, "Take this, Vladimir," and he just jumps at you and like punches you and runs away.
Yeah,
it was so dumb.
I think gameplay is a little bit mixed for me on this game. I liked being able to grind out DNA. That made it pretty fast, the method I found.
I glitched through the level a few times. It froze on me a few times.
Yeah, it froze on me as well. I'm not sure if that's the disc or the PS2 or what, but there were a few times where like mid-mission or near the end of the mission it would just freeze and I'd have to restart the whole thing.
And you guys use the same PS2, so it could be a mechanical problem.
Yeah,
that's
like with overheating or something.
I know your wires are freaking shorting out, so it could be.
Yeah, that's the display wires.
I know. Just saying the wires are going out.
He's just saying
PS2 could be going out too.
Yeah. That's...
All right. Side missions.
I didn't really do very many, but there are side missions scattered throughout. You can find them by seeing this tall pillar of yellow light. You can go to them, and it gives you like a little mini game or like a mini mission to do.
Yeah, we're talking like destroy people, destroy buildings. One is like a track game where you have to like fly to different parts of the map, almost like a racing game against time. Most of the time I only use those for the just to gain DNA really fast from the brains. And what else did I do?
How are the physics for destroying the buildings?
They're pretty good, I'd say. I like them.
It's as good as what was it,
Red Faction?
Red Faction,
so you
not quite that level.
Buildings have a health bar, and once you've destroyed the health bar off the building, then it just collapses down like implodes.
Red Faction is amazing, though. Yeah. With this game, though, another thing is there's these little collectible items. They're like these weird little pod-looking things. Yeah, the probes. And collecting them gives you, I think it's 175 DNA.
75.
Oh, well, I found some that were worth more later, okay. I think. Anyway, there's like a bunch of those just chilling around on the map, and you can go collect those if you see them in your sights. That part of it and just the open worldness of it. You select an area and you just get to roam the whole place.
That's cool. They're pretty decent size for that area, I'd say.
It reminded me a lot of Grand Theft Auto, except for you're an alien.
It's to the point where areas are big enough that when you go do missions, a lot of the missions are repeat using the same level design, but you just go to a different part of that level. And then some of the larger missions, like the end missions, you use the whole level as you go around it. So kind of annoying where you get to go to the same place again and again and again, but you know.
Yeah, they're big enough. Yeah.
All right. So what would you... Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to ask, what was like the coolest thing you guys think that you did in the game?
Telekinesis is my favorite thing in most games.
I like the... you know what? The telekinesis was well done.
I love the telekinesis in Mario. It's really
like when I first played
when Mario gets telekinesis.
It's like when I played The Force Awakens, the first one. I know it's not telekinesis. It's it's not telekinesis, but it's the Force. But when you're playing as Vader and you're killing the Wookiees and you get to the bridge part, oh man, that was so
Words
fun.
with Friends telekinesis. Yeah, the best. In most games with telekinesis, Cameron just loves. Most games have telekinesis, and that is Cameron's favorite aspect.
I just like being able to move things with my mind. It's awesome.
5 with telekinesis.
If only.
The disintegrator ray is probably my favorite.
Disintegrator ray, I really love the ion gun.
Yeah, I liked shooting people a couple times, and then their body just like sloughs away, and then it's just their skeleton underneath. And then
I did see that. That was pretty cool looking.
Yeah, I think it looks awesome. It reminds me of that like Attack from Mars movie or something from forever ago.
I remember that.
Mars Attacks.
Mars Attacks. Yeah,
And
they
the
get
only way to kill
vaporized and they turn
yeah.
into the skeletons. That scared
That's
the
exactly
shit out of me
like
when I was a
how it
kid.
was.
But yeah, that's what it looks
I think
like.
was Mars Attacks kind of like inspiration, even though they're not from
It
Mars.
seemed like it. Isn't Jack Nicholson in Mars Attacks?
I don't know.
We're going to talk about sound, and there's a Jack Nicholson connection here.
There it is. Yeah, this guy's good at his Jack impersonation.
Yeah.
There's some fun elements to it. It is kind of rudimentary in other ways. What did you think overall about the gameplay?
Gameplay, I'm going to give that another 6 out of 10.
Okay, so
Had enough problems with it.
It had enough problems.
Around.
It was kind of infuriating. Like with the telekinesis, my favorite thing to use, small objects you can pick up and move easily, but almost like too easy, where it's like your what's it called? Your sensitivity went all the way up to like 10, and you're just flinging them around. You can't really aim with it that way unless you're really sensitive with it. And then we get to something that's really heavy. You can just basically pick it up and put it down, and then you can throw it out. You can't really aim it, so you have to move yourself to get behind where you want to shoot it. That was kind of annoying to me. It makes sense, but annoying.
okay, Caleb.
Man, there were some good things in the game as far as gameplay goes. I'm probably gonna give it a 6 as well.
Okay.
There were some definite problems with it. You know what? Fuck that. Make it a 7.
7? Okay.
Yeah, I don't think it was quite that bad. There were a few issues. As far as like some of the mechanics go, it was frustrating to try to hide from people. It was like almost impossible to fucking change into another human to Hollow Bob. And some of the missions did get repetitive, honestly. There was a lot of, hey, go do this real fast. And it's like, oh, mission complete. Which I love because I'm trying to finish it in a semi-quick manner, but it's just, it lacks a certain creativity as far as mission designs go, and that definitely takes away from the gameplay.
Do you remember the level where they introduced the psychic guys that you fight against? The guys where they unlock their latent psychic abilities using Furon DNA?
Right.
Well, that was a level that I first glitched through the level design itself. So I was in the building, and I anal probed a guy, and when you do that and they're about to die, sometimes their body flings, and his body flinged and it knocked me into a corner. Then when his head exploded to get his brain out, that explosion caused me to glitch to the side of the level. So I was underneath that floor with the two psychic guys, and I could so I would shoot my ion thing. I killed the two guys without actually being in the level, but then I couldn't leave to go kill the Tesla coils.
Oh wow!
And so I had to start over.
Yeah. Another thing that oh shit, I had a point, but I lost it in your rant. Oh no, I remember now. There's a mission in Washington where you have to get the Blue Rider password from the scientist.
Yeah.
And he kept getting hit by a car. This happened at least 3 or 4 times to me, where he'd walk into the road and just...
I remember following Armquist through one city. His freaking motorcade kept fucking killing civilians. And then the stupid drivers behind it would just start honking. They just lay into it and don't stop until the obstruction moves. But it's just this people. And then for some reason, this one soldier kept trying to stand up, and he kept falling back down for no fucking reason. He'd get up, fall back down in front of the fucking car.
Yeah, so I'd get this far in the mission and I'd fail because the scientist was a fucking idiot and walked out into traffic. Yeah, it was just frustrating. That's like a shitty gameplay mechanic.
What I'm getting from you guys is that it has a lot of problems, but it's still fun.
Yeah, I'd say it's a fun game.
Yeah, it's still
All
fun.
right.
It's still, yeah.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah. All right. So what about visually, guys? Now this is what is this? A late PS2 game, I think.
2005 is what they said.
2005. Okay, so yeah, a late PS2 game. What do you think? With that in mind, how does this game look graphically, and then how about the art as well?
So
what do you guys think about this?
I've never owned a PS2. I owned an Xbox. I guess they're kind of the same generation.
It is the same generation.
So I wasn't quite up to date on how good those graphics look. I think the original Halo, its graphic wise, does better than this game, but I don't have a real medium to compare it against the games of its time.
Well, Doom 3 was probably the high point.
Doom 3 destroys this.
Oh yeah. Most things, I would say, destroy this in 05. I don't know. The look of it's a little bit rudimentary. There's a few...
you can see the polygons on certain things.
Yeah, there's a few pre-rendered cutscenes, but even those are, fairly subpar. I think a lot of it is kind of what happens when you do an open world game like Grand Theft Auto. We look at Grand Theft Auto 3, Vice City, and San Andreas, and none of those games have good graphics. San Andreas was the later PS2 game, and it does not look that good. But it's a fucking huge map. It's got
how many
all of these
polygons
things going on.
The system has to load.
Right.
And it has to make up for
the character can only afford so much of them, and the designs, the individuals walking around can only have so much detail with everything else in the game.
Yeah.
Keeping that in mind, it still doesn't look that good.
The maps are not big as San Andreas.
Oh, hell no.
And it looks kind of rudimentary, like you said.
Yeah, it's not anything to really write home about. I did like the visuals as far as the death and destruction. That stuff looked pretty good. I never ran into any like wonky.
It was still fun. It's the point of the game to destroy all humans. It made it fun to do just that.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was cool that they had
those pretty snazzy destruction effects. Then,
yeah.
Okay. On top of some subpar level design.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. How about art style? What did you guys think about the 50s aesthetics with the aliens? What do you guys think about that?
I do. I like that a lot.
Yeah, that's. I think that's easily the best part about the design of the game.
And then just the whole idea of the government covering everything up.
Yeah. Every time you finish a mission, you'll get like a newspaper headline where it's like. Carnival destroyed, faulty wiring to blame, and it's got like this massive carnage
and then,
on the top.
And then another one is where you go destroy all the Tesla coils as one of the levels, and it goes, new power substations explode. The guy who installed it is to blame or something like that. It's always so funny.
Yeah, they either blame faultiness or like communism, like the Reds are to blame for everything.
And then if you die, you get a nice little headline that goes, slain monkey found or something like that.
Yeah, some random thing.
Or circus midget found dead.
I think the design of it is cool, though. I like seeing like the drive-in movie theater on one of the levels. I like seeing the people. The attire they have is very well done. The cars look 50s-esque. All of that. I think the design is solid in this game.
Okay, design is solid, but not incredible.
Yeah, the idea of the design, I would say, is more solid than the design itself.
The actual, okay.
I think maybe another point is when they make all the buildings destructible, they take away from being able to do other stuff too, because now they have to have not just one
processor
rendition,
has to be able to handle all that stuff.
One rendition of the building, but two. One is it's there, and one is it's destroyed in rubble.
Right.
Yeah, when I remember playing Halo 2 for the first time when it came out, and me and my friend, we just played co-op the whole way through, basically. And sometimes there would be times where like too much stuff was happening. This was on the Xbox, which was a better system than the PS2 was as far as what it could handle. Sometimes it would just kind of like slow down, and all the textures would become little blocky things as it went along. And so, when you're dealing with things, I'm assuming, I'm not a programmer, but I'm assuming when you're dealing with like a lot of dynamic destruction aspects or animation, you can't have too many things going on at once, and we've talked about that a little bit. What do you guys give design out of 10?
I will give that a 7.
7 out of 10 for Cameron.
I'm gonna give it a 6 this time.
A 6.
A little lesser. I don't think it looked great, but I do like the ideas that they employed and the coolness of like the flying saucer obsession.
How many games around that era had a completely destructible like building environment, especially when you get to downtown, DC with all those tall buildings? How many games at that time were doing that, where you could just destroy it all?
Well, Godzilla Destroy All Monsters, probably.
Two Red Faction games at that time, and Red Faction 2 did it way better, but it's different, so it's hard to say.
Okay. All right, so music in this game, guys. Music and sound. First off, how was the music in this game? What are we looking at here?
The theme song for Destroy All Humans.
Okay.
Yes. All right, so basically a lot of that. That's like every time you go into a mission.
Yeah, that sounds like pretty stock
Yeah, it's stock like Alien, like woo,
Sci-fi movie, yeah.
50s sci-fi, yeah.
Sci-fi
so it makes
action
sense.
movie, yeah.
Yeah, it's basically a satire on all of the movies that came out in the 50s. It had to do with like Area 51 and shit like that. That's what this game is. It's what it's all about.
This game is just poking fun at anything it can poke fun at.
Area
basically.
49 is
Area
what they call
42
it.
is what they call
or 42,
it.
yeah.
That's where you try to kill Armaquist. But
Yeah, it's like
with a
this-
nuke. You miss.
This crazy stuff.
So is the music effective then?
It's a nice introduction to the game, but I feel like music does not play a big role as you actually get into a level.
Okay. Do you want it to? Does it need to play a big role in this game?
It would be nice to have it there to kind of break up the monotony, I think.
Oh, okay. So
So what do you think?
music?
So it doesn't play the whole
the
time, just as the
implementation
intro?
is not that great.
Yeah, I'd say implementation. There's not a whole lot of music in the game. There's a few tracks, and if there is, I don't remember. It's like
It's
so,
like more atmosphere as you get into it. It doesn't actually sound like an orchestrated thing. Certain cutscenes will have some music to go behind it, but music was not a strong point of this game, I'd say.
Okay. All right. So what would you guys give music?
Well, what about sound too? Music and
Oh,
sound.
all right. Yeah. Sound.
Sound
Thank you for
effects.
keeping me up on that. Sound effects, voice acting.
Voice acting was on par. Voice acting,
Was
I can
on
give.
par.
We can give lots
On
of
par
points
with
to.
the other shit.
No. So voice acting, they did a really good job with the 1959 type dialect, where they just really emphasize certain parts when they're talking about stuff and just the way they talk. Crypto, I think he sounded kind of lazy, but it's probably just part of his character. But other than that, I think,
You don't say.
and
I
then he
think
just they don't give him as many lines as you think he could have.
Yeah, that's true. I thought the voice acting was great in this game as well. There's only a few characters that have different ones. I mean, there's probably like 25 different voices in it. The main guy, Crypto, he's pretty awesome. He's got like a Jack Nicholson style voice. He sounds exactly like him almost. But
Jack.
yeah. And the main dude, the Pox guy, the main guy that sent you to the planet, he's got a cool little voice too. I don't know. I think that's a strong point for the game. I think they did well with it, especially for a game that it's not like this epic story or anything like that. So they don't like hammer in on the voice acting has to be awesome for this thing. It's just they did a good job.
Some of the stuff was cheesy and over the top, but that they did it on purpose.
Yeah, it's like
satire.
It's supposed to be that way. The game's sound effects, I think all of those sounded fine. It sounded like the jetpack was definitely the same jetpack from Battlefront. That's okay. That's all right. And
They could have made the jetpack
Stock
better.
sound then a little bit. Yeah.
kind of a stock sound.
I like how when you're using the jetpack and then you stop, how air is 100% effective at stopping your forward momentum.
Oh yeah, that's interesting.
And you just
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
float all the way down, and you're trying to get somewhere real fast. It's so infuriating.
It definitely can be. I didn't have any like weird sound glitches. There were a few times where the dialogue just cut out, but that could have been a system
There was this
issue.
one time where I was supposed to be going as a general to take do a hologram of a general, walk in and convince the other generals not to agree with Armquist. And as I'm running in, a stupid majestic agent discovers me, and I start turning back to, the alien, but I've already triggered the cutscene event. And so the cutscene, he starts talking and he sees me and he runs away, and the game kind of sits there for 30 seconds and doesn't do anything.
It's deciding.
And then it switches back to where I have to do the conversation moment where I pick what I need to say to convince them. And I'm just an alien chilling there having this conversation with these guys to convince them not to give him the support.
Did you pass the mission doing
I
that?
did. And so I convinced them all. They all clap. Yeah, you can't convince us, General. And then when I go to confront the general, I'm all of a sudden the other general again. So they drew the cutscene that way.
Oh, nice. Funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's right. I forgot to mention that in gameplay. There are these little mini games where there are times when the town folk or somebody gets like suspicious, and you have to choose from a list of commands to like justify what happened or something like that. And there's some pretty funny things in there. And that goes with the dialogue too. You've got like these hicks in this one town that are just like, what happened? How come they haven't had any of this over in Modesto? And then like one of the things is like, because we're more American than they are, or something like that. And then everyone's
We
like,
have
yeah,
more cows than them.
yeah. So that works pretty well too. I think the voice acting and shit is good.
All right. So music and sound.
I'll go 7.
7?
Yep.
The lack of thematic music throughout, the game really doesn't do it for me. So I'm going to go back to 6.
6. Okay.
Trading back.
All right. Okay, guys. Will you ever play this game again?
How's the replayability?
Don't talk at the same time ever again.
Fuck you.
1, 2, 3. How's the replay? Come on. 1, 2, 3. How's the replayability?
So the engagement is next week.
Yeah.
Oh man. I would give with him
Fucking quit!
Go ahead, Cameron.
I would give the replayability a 5 out of 10. I mean, there is some incentive because after beating the game, I noticed for both of us, we are only at 44%.
Yeah. It's because of all those fucking pods everywhere, I bet.
There's like hundreds of pods hidden throughout each level you have to go find. And just some of the side missions you can go do. 5 out of 10 just because you'd have to suffer through some poor gameplay, but then you don't really have to do anything. You don't have to hide. You can just go do it. So 5 out of 10.
5 out of 10. Caleb?
I'm going to give it a 3.
3 out of 10 for replayability.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to play this game again ever. I upgraded everything fully. There's really no reason to go do the extra missions at this point.
And I guess there's no trophy, no purpose to win.
Yeah, even if there were trophies, like I can't upgrade my guy anymore. I can't make myself
No, the reason why
better.
you return is just to destroy everyone, to destroy all humans, the real purpose of the game.
That's why I gave it a 3 and not a 0. Because there is purpose in going back and just
That is
wrecking
why
shit.
I gave it a 3 and not a 0.
So when we started this game, or when you nominated it, now sometimes I'm not that big of a video game player until now because I have these podcasts. Of course, they've made me a big video game player. I had never heard of this game, and in fact, there are sequels to this game that I had also never heard of. You want to talk about Cameron real quick while I add these numbers up together? You want to talk about your struggle finding this game or the rarity of this game? Both of you guys can talk about that.
So this is how it went. I first found or discovered this game while in the Provo Town Center Mall. That's the same way I discovered Halo, actually, because this was just playing on one of the display games, and I picked it up, flew around the flying saucer, picked up some cows, and threw some stuff around. I had a lot of fun and thought it was a great game. This is just years and years ago, back 2005, right? And it just stuck with me since. And so I guess the idea of being able to fly around and destroy all humans is something that stuck to me as a kid.
Okay.
And then, looking for this game, I accidentally bought the wrong copy. I bought the fourth one in the series because there's Destroy All Humans, Destroy All Humans 2, and then there's another Destroy All Humans that takes place in the 60s, and the one I got is Destroy All Humans that takes place in the 70s.
Okay.
Yeah, it's 1, 2, Big Willie Unleashed, and Path of the Furon. And you bought Path of the Furon.
I bought Path of the Furon. And to tell you the truth, some of the things look better, but it looks like it was built on the same exact engine.
Yeah, I'm sure it was.
So, Schweiss, how about getting a hold of this game for you?
Well, last week we decided to go on a little game trip where there's, I think, 3 or 4 local video game stores, and all with different inventories, of course. And we're like, let's go drive around for a bit. I went to the first store, nada. Second store, nada. Third, fucking nothing either.
Hey, we tried to give them our business.
I know, I tried. And
why didn't you just call ahead and have them look through their inventory?
I could have done that, but it's about the hunt.
It's the journey.
And then when I went online to look for the original, the actual Xbox copy, I did find one, but it was from freaking Europe. So I wouldn't have been able to play it.
Yeah, so I found mine and I bought it for like $10 online.
Okay.
It wasn't bad. I mean, it was an enjoyable experience, although I do kind of adopt my roommate's idea for video games, which is like $1 for every hour of entertainment it offers me. And if I do that, this one is not a pass. I think I beat this in like 7 hours.
Yeah, I beat it in one sitting of 5 hours and a second sitting of 2.
Yeah, it's not a long game. And it is tough to get a hold of. It's a greatest hits game, which is odd.
So it's
that
sold
hard to
over 1
find.
million copies, but it's hard to get a hold of.
Yeah, I guess.
I guess that's a good sign because if they buy
People
the
are
game, they
holding
keep
on to
it.
it.
They don't want to sell it.
Yeah.
I remember
That's my
seeing commercials for this game like years ago. Like that's how I know about it, but like I never played it like at all.
Oh,
or
man.
knew anybody who did.
It was like my experience with Halo. So this is Destroy All Humans. I get in there, I'm this kid, and I'm having fun doing this. But then when I was playing Halo, I'm like, whoa, what is this world? I'm driving the Warthog and I flip it. And I'm like, hey, I knew I could flip it back over. How do I do it? And I was just sitting there shooting at the Warthog, and then I had to leave. That was my first experience of Halo.
Greatest Hits actually is selling 400,000 copies within and being on the market at least 9 months is what it is.
Oh, okay. All right. So it's
sold. That's a pretty good amount of copies. I mean, it's not a Final Fantasy or a Halo, but it's 400K. That's probably profitable, I would imagine.
Well, yeah, it's profitable at $50 a pop. It's definitely profitable. It does seem a little too rare for being a greatest hits, though.
It is. Yeah, it took me forever to find it. That's not the first time. That's not the first day I looked for this goddamn game. I looked a couple other days.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can't find it.
So it's odd.
And this is one that I did play in the past, though. I tried to beat it probably like 7 or 8 years ago when our mutual friend Cody owned it, and I couldn't get through it. It was too hard for me, which is not the case anymore. It's easy as hell, but yeah. So I mean, it has a little bit of a legacy in my eyes to where I had seen it before, I had played it before, I had just never completed the game, and it was surprising to not be able to find a copy of it. So,
overall thoughts on the game, Cameron?
It's worth a play.
Worth a play?
It's worth a play. If you can
get a hold of it
if you can get a hold of it, and you enjoy satire and you just enjoy playing a game to have fun, then this would be a game to play.
All right.
You could play around with it a couple days, and you'd probably forget it after that.
Would you play the sequel?
I own one of the sequels, so
you own the fourth one, though.
The fourth one is a little bit more readily available for some reason, but
because it's
if I
more
had
recent.
the sequel here and we were to do a review on it, yeah, I'd play it.
Okay. So we might get a nomination in the future. Caleb Schweiss?
Would I play?
Well, what are your overall thoughts?
I think it's okay. I agree with Cameron. This is one that I recommend picking up and doing a playthrough and then selling it right back. That's what I would do. I did the same thing with Gun, which was a much better game, mind you. The problem with Gun is I 100%ed it in 8.5 hours.
Oh my god. That's not even a game.
I loved it, though.
That's a Flash game.
It's amazing.
As soon as he got it, he like played it straight.
Yeah, I did not stop. I was obsessed. There's wanted posters. Oh, it's fucking awesome. Red Dead Redemption now just
it's the better
blows
version.
it out of the water. Yeah, it's fucking a million times Gun.
A million times Gun.
Yeah, so I would recommend picking it up if you find it. My recommended price, probably like $7 to $10 at most. And then I would just turn back around and sell it again. I don't think it's one that you necessarily would want to return.
You might want to keep it just because of its scarcity. It depends on if it ever gets on the PlayStation Network.
Oh yeah, I'm not going to resell it. I would probably maybe break even if I did.
You know, if they did a remaster and maybe looked at the controls just a little bit, I think this would be a fun game to remaster.
Yeah, I just the problem with it, the biggest downer is definitely the replayability. Like, there's no drive for me to go back and play it. When we look at most of the other games that we've played for Nude Clan, there is some sort of a drive for me to go back. There's more quests. Diablo 2 had an expansion in it. Diablo 2 is an amazing game. I want to go back and play it. The random item drops, play it with
best
multiple
game of all
people.
time, according to Nude Clan.
Heavy Rain, there's different ways you can do things, different endings, different things to do. In this one, it's worth a playthrough, I would say. It's a fun game. I had fun.
Okay.
I don't regret it.
Sequel time?
Sequel, I would play. I'd play it, yeah.
You'd play? Okay. So we might get a nomination in the future. We'll see.
Perhaps.
Okay. All right. So the official Nude Clan score.
Oh, man.
Story. Cameron gave it a 6. Caleb gave it a 7. Gameplay. Cameron gave it a 6. Caleb gave it a 7. Design. Cameron gave it a 7. Caleb gave it a 6. Music and sound.
This is irritating.
Cameron gave it a 6. Caleb gave it a 7. Replayability. Cameron gave it a 5. Caleb gave it a 3. Both of them somehow added up to 30 out of 50. And
By our powers combined,
the total Nude Clan official score for Destroy All Humans is 60 out of 100. The worst game of all time, according to Nude Clan.
Man,
I would have called it the worst game of all. This is our moderately fun game.
Yeah, this is still.
You'll have a moderate amount of fun to play this. So worst game of all time. Not
what is
quite
that?
yet.
Certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes.
It is. So think about that. For all of you guys who voted for it, not a bad game. It's just some of our categories do not agree with the game.
Yeah.
And
if there was a satire category, this would be off the charts.
oh yeah, it'd be a 20, but there's not.
All right, Caleb, you got some news?
I do have some news. So it's pretty Blizzard central. So yeah, the first
only-
thing.
Welcome to Chicago.
Fucking July and it's hot as shit right now.
So anyway, some of the news with Blizzard is that Blizzard is suing a company for making a program that allows people to cheat in Overwatch and selling it.
Oh,
So yeah,
How are they doing that?
I don't
How's
know.
it going on?
I don't know how
What
they're
are the
allowed to
cheats?
sell it legally,
Binary.
but they're getting sued right now by Blizzard
Is that really illegal, though?
to cheat in an online game?
to create a program that allows you to hack
It's
into
just
another
like
game.
it's
that,
just like the thing in Play Online where we're not supposed to have that windower mode.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a mod. It's a mod to the game, so it's not allowed.
It might not be allowed on their servers, but that does. I want to
So,
know
yeah.
what the legalities are.
No,
like,
if you think about it, if they're doing LAN local area matches with it, then yeah, I guess it's more legal. But if you're going online and using your cheats against other people who just paid for the full version of the game, I think that they're creating a disadvantage and they're breaking the rules of their game.
I think you can have a Toyota car and someone can like mess with the steering wheel and make it so that you can steer it in the back seat, and I don't think Toyota should sue you for that.
No, that's a little bit different.
No,
though.
but you'd get pulled over.
That's
for
not
that shit,
ruining
though.
everyone else's experience, whereas cheating in a
Well,
game online is.
Yeah.
And there isn't there with software. There's a user agreement.
Yeah, that shit says no to that, and you
And
say,
you agree
Well,
to
then
that.
that's a user problem. I don't know if it's another programmer's problem. If they're not specifically messing with Blizzard
Oh,
themselves,
we'll just have to see how this
they'll-
court case goes.
I mean, they'd have to.
It might be. I don't know what exactly the program is. I just know that some company made a program that allows you to cheat in Overwatch, and they're selling it. So, and I think that's the problem: is that they're
selling.
they're
Yeah.
making money off of something that's screwing Blizzard over.
and it's screwing over the players.
It's a content that Blizzard owns, and they're messing with it and messing with the balance system that they so strongly.
That's just like someone cheating on League of
Adhere to.
Legends. If someone
Yeah,
were
but
modding the game,
but no one sues them for cheating. They just they kick 'em.
people.
I think
people,
some
no,
people
no.
have if it's
people
like
get banned
certain
forever.
level of severity.
Yeah.
People get banned forever.
I
if you
understand
cheat.
that, but they're just banned. It's not a legal banning. It's a banning because it's their product.
Right,
Just
but
ban
the
it.
creating of
now
the
they
software.
can find. Yeah, but now they can find and get a hold of these people who are creating cheats for their game.
I have a hard time seeing what they're suing over. Like, what is the actual crime?
They're making money on a mod, is what it is.
But is it a separate program that affects other programs?
Yeah,
Is
it
that
affects
really,
everyone's program
is
if
that
they're
really,
playing with it.
Yeah, software law confuses me because that doesn't seem like something that's actually.
It's just like the copyright stuff where
Doing
I can
something.
copy my CDs a million times, but the moment I sell it, it's illegal.
It's not the same because they're not giving you Overwatch. They're giving you something that affects Overwatch. They're giving you a CD player that you're paying for.
But see, the thing is where your right to free speech ends, where someone else's freedom begins, and so you have the right to buy this software. You have the right to keep it. But as soon as you use it, and it starts affecting other people's experience of the game. You are out of your rights.
Yeah, it becomes problematic.
I don't know, man. I don't know if they'll win that suit. Unless there's some weird law out there, some software thing that this somehow is affecting. If they're not giving out Overwatch stuff, the only thing that I would assume that Blizzard can do in this situation is just boot the players using it.
Yeah, I would do that for the get-go.
It wouldn't be...
boot the players who are cheating, number one. But number two, if you can find the person who's selling the cheats,
unless they're suing them.
monetizing the virus that's destroying your game.
Yeah, it ruins the community. It can uproot the whole thing.
Well,
Yeah.
that's
why League is so
I don't know if
toxic.
that's a legal thing that you can mess with, though. Another thing on that, now I know I don't have all the detail. They could be suing something. They could be suing that program for different things, to get rid of it.
Yeah.
So maybe they use like their logo or something, and they're going to sue them for that to get rid of that,
bankrupt it,
to stop the program.
Yeah, they could be doing that.
It could be something like that.
Hopefully, it destroys it because that's fucked up.
All right.
Yeah. And then the other bit of news is a bit of a two-parter. So one is that the director for Diablo 3 has left Blizzard.
Oh.
Dun, dun, dun.
And
I haven't played it.
The other part of that is that Blizzard is now looking for some people to hire for a new Diablo project. So, new Diablo is on the horizon.
Get your resumes in order.
Yeah, game designers.
Who happen to listen
Project
to the show.
managers, too.
I could write a Diablo story, I bet.
Yeah.
I'd have to know what happens at the end of 3 first.
Diablo comes back again.
Yes. Better, faster, and more bullshit than before. There it is, right there. Get Kane to come back.
Yeah, that guy wasn't one of the... I know there were like 4 people behind the original, and none of them showed up for Diablo 3. And so that guy is obviously pretty central. Whoever that guy is, he didn't say his name. He's probably pretty central to the project. And now it's like, we got our dick in our hands again.
That's all right.
We'll see if they can pull it off.
Diablo 3 was great. I can't
In
wait
another
till you guys
9
play it.
years, we'll have 4. It's not a big deal. I've accepted it.
That seems
Every
about right,
generation gets a new Diablo. It's
Yeah. And so the last bit of news that I have is that Pokemon Go, that mobile app game thing where you're allowed to play Pokemon in like a VR type thing with your phone, is now available to certain people.
So there's people
they're
walking
out of
around.
they're out of beta, but it is. I checked the.
Is this the one where you can like go anywhere in the world, and if someone else is playing, like there's just Pokemon in random spots?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a cool idea.
Wow.
I think.
Yeah, the global thing, yeah, and it's apparently available right now. I tried to get it on the store for here, but it said it wasn't available in our country, so they probably haven't updated it for us yet. Okay. So,
all right,
but it is apparently out for some
Are you
countries.
excited for that shit?
Yeah. Yeah, I am. Nice. I want to play some Pokemon Go.
Are you going to Pokemon Go outside sometimes?
Yeah, for some fucking Pokemon.
There's a Joe pun.
And something special for Joe. I think it only has the first 150 Pokemon.
Oh, so it's a real Pokemon game. Okay, cool.
Not the plank with a wooden nail
it
in
said
it.
there were only 151 Pokemon, right? It said that. The show, or I'm assuming the game, said there's only 150 Pokemon. And then suddenly they're like,
well, they discovered the Amazon rainforest.
60 were discovered in this world.
Amazon rainforest.
And I call bullshit.
That's where they
that,
went.
And I can't memorize past 151. I used to have like most of those Pokemon fucking memorized too when I was a kid, and I was a big fan of the show, which is if you watch it now, it's actually a pretty fucking terrible show. So
it's fucking awful.
I didn't even like it then. I was like, I
remember
play the game.
racing home, racing from the bus stop to home so I could watch the new episode.
I read the books though; those were cool.
Yeah, the manga's got sweet. Like, there's some dark shit in there.
Yeah.
Like, people die, Pokemon die. Like, they have intense fights.
Wait, which Pokemon books? Because there's Pokemon books that are comic books, like he's talking about, and there's Pokemon books based on the episodes that were just like little tiny, like kid novellas.
I read both. I didn't mind the novellas.
Kid novellas.
At least I didn't have to watch it. It's better in like flat format with just the dialogue that's important. I don't know.
What?
I don't like the fucking show. It sucks. That's what I'm saying.
Man, and I was there for that original Pokemon movie where they gave you the freaking Pokeballs and the golden card.
The gold, my gold Pikachu.
I loved it.
I saw that in theaters a couple times.
I got that Mew, the crazy Egyptian Mew
I think
card.
I got the Mew as well. Yeah,
That was sweet.
Nah, that's the one I got.
I liked collecting those things more than I liked playing with them, honestly.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, one last thing before we finish up here. Now, our next review is going to be the Double Dragon movie review. We've already ordered the very expensive and rare DVD, and we will have a contest with iTunes reviews to be able to finish that up. Now, I don't think we got any iTunes reviews this week. As far as I know, if you put an iTunes review out and we just didn't get it in time, we'll see it next time.
Remember, we are recording this on Tuesday, so don't beat us up for not getting it.
Yeah. So, guys, put in your iTunes reviews. Make them fancy. Make them good. They got to be scrumptious reviews for us to decide who gets our signed Double Dragon DVD. And this is a hard fucking movie to get a hold of.
Yeah. How much
so
did you have
keep
to
that in
spend on
mind.
that?
$30 for a
Ooh.
used DVD.
A used DVD?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yes.
Yeah,
That
this is
is
quite
a
the
lot.
prize, guys.
I'm not going to read the synopsis on it. I'm not going to look at the Rotten Tomatoes. I'm just going in this.
No.
I'm just going in at raw.
Dude, I used to watch like the old cartoon Double Dragon show. Yeah. It's not anything like that. It's so bad.
So we're excited for Double Dragon.
can't be
After
as
Double
bad as Super
Dragon,
Mario Bros.
it will be our
a little better
quadruple
than that.
review. Last time we did Far Cry Primal. This time we're doing Doom 2016.
Yeah, Doom
Hell
2016, a little bit after the original Doom review.
Yeah.
So,
And
be fun to
then
compare those.
what game are we doing after that? What's the next game, Caleb's? 6 weeks away. What are we playing?
I'm sorry.
You're
There's
count
more
as
than
2
one.
people since you have to have 2 tickets on a plane.
Yeah.
Oh!
Fuck
Sorry,
you.
that was fucked up.
Yeah, it
That
was.
dick.
Yeah.
Look, man, the airlines
Asshole.
make the rules. I just enforce them.
You enforce them.
I do on the show.
I hope you get anal cavity searched, man, when we go.
I'll grow out the beard.
Jet
just to
fuel
do it.
can't carry Caleb.
Yeah. So,
Our nominees for you guys to go on our site, nudeclaim.net or ultimafinalfantasy.com. Temporarily, site's being worked on, but it'll be on that site for now. The nominations from Cameron. Cameron, what are you nominating?
I'm nominating Wolfenstein Old Blood, the
Why?
newest iteration of Wolfenstein, because I've always wanted to play it.
Okay, and then
And then I am also nominating the PlayStation 2 game Black.
it's also on Xbox, just so you know.
okay.
I don't have
PlayStation 2 version.
You have a 360, don't you?
I don't know if it is, when is are all 360s backwards compatible?
Yours
No.
is.
Okay.
You were able to play Fable.
Not all of them are. They
No,
do platinum
I
hits.
played the remastered
I think.
Xbox 360 version of Fable.
No, you didn't.
I'll have to look at it.
You did not.
It was the Xbox one. I don't think all of the
You
games
played
are.
the original Xbox one.
We'll check. We'll find out.
All right, so 2 shooters. Cameron's going to nominate a shooter every fucking time, and then our audience is going to be like, I don't like shooters.
Well,
Grow up. They're games. They revolutionize stuff. Come on. The
For other
original Doom.
shooters.
The original Doom.
Forgot about that revolutionary Wolfenstein Old Blood.
yeah.
Just a game I've wanted to play.
Change the face of
Doom's,
humanity, really.
Yeah, Doom's more unique than most shooters. Caleb, what are your nominations?
My nominations are Castlevania Symphony of the Night
Okay.
If that one wins, I am going to drown someone.
and Fury. Dude, I'm going to tell you, it's probably going to win.
I know it's probably going to win because the fan base right now are mostly from Ultima, and they're the ones who don't like shooters. They're the ones who like these long, drawn out,
but dude-
overly complicated.
You wanted to play Metroid. This is it. Castlevania is a lot like Metroid.
I know. I wanted to play the original Metroid too. That's another thing I wanted to do.
Yeah, that's not a nominee.
Symphony of the Night is sweet.
So we got Symphony of the Night and Fury, F-U-R-I. What is Fury?
So Fury is one of the new PlayStation Plus games that just came out. It
joke.
dropped this today, actually. So yeah, I looked at it. It looked kind of interesting. Thought I'd try it out.
Is it a shooter or what is it?
It's kind of like an over the top, like so you top down kind of shooter. You play as like a dude who has like a sword. Then you kind of like can reflect stuff, and then you can shoot back at dudes. It's like an interesting looking game, and it's
Okay, all
really
right.
stylized.
All right, so once again, the nominations are Wolfenstein Old Blood, Black, Castlevania Symphony of the Night, and Fury. You guys have 1 week to vote, and make sure you guys check out this episode. This episode's going to be called Destroy All Humans Review. You go into there, the poll will be on that post, and you can vote there. On top of that, guys, make sure you to give me to count up your Super Hog points and your Hog Status points, and we will once again count up kind of like where everybody is before July. If you haven't counted up your points yet, you got a whole month to do so you got before August 1st. You gotta bring those into me, and you give them to me. Hashtag hog status and hashtag may the list go on. You might as well do hashtag July. That would also help out a lot if you have enough room to do that third hashtag. Okay, guys. You Facebook.com/Nude Clan Podcast. It's Nude spelled NEWD. Twitch.tv/Nude Clan Gaming. You can also give us nudeclangaming@gmail.com. You can give us an email there. Nudeclan.net is going to take you over to ultimatefinalfantasy.com temporarily, and we're going to be working on that soon. You can tweet me at Joseph DeGollier.
Me at Obsidian Bob.
Me at Nude Clan Cam.
Me at UFF Podcast.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Enjoy the nude.
We're going to go on a hike. We'll see you next week. Do you want to do that again, Caleb?
Nope.
Craig?
It's already done.
All right.
May the list go on.
Live always in the nude.
Fuck off.
Fuck you. Fuck off.
No!